right then. He didn't speak to Moses in dark sayings.
He never
So when
spoke
he
to him.
said he didn't let my son go, there's no interpretation needed in that.
No, absolutely. There is no interpretation needed for this. Can you guys still see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no need. All right. So we don't need to run fast through this and say, oh, well, let's just hurry up and let me hurry up and do these slides and all that kind of stuff. No, I want you to fully understand why you're listening to Moshe, because everyone is about going against this in particular servant. Okay. A servant is only going to do what his master says. When Yah says that he's faithful, that means that he's going to be faithful to what? To do what Yahweh says. Okay. Okay. And he was faithful to tell us what Yahweh says. Oh, he made a mistake. Yes, he did. It showed that he is a human being and that he made an error, and Yahweh held him responsible for that action. He didn't even let this faithful servant go get away. So he's letting you know that even if you are faithful to me, if you make a mistake, I'm going to hold you responsible for your action. I read that, I think, last week. I told you, he told me, if you tell my people that I told you to tell them I'm going to destroy you, you're going to die if you're wicked and you refuse to change your ways, and you fail to warn them for me, then I'm going to hold you responsible. So Moshe is the one that you and I need to understand, that he never has dreams and he never told a vision. Whatever Moshe said is plain. Plain as yogurt. You understand me? Is plain as Greek yogurt. There's nothing in it. You understand? So he's letting us know off the top that you guys need to understand this, because if you don't understand this, you're going to get caught up in a dream and you go get caught up in other people's visions. But I already told you how I'm dealing with him. And I'm going to give you the recipe to let you know who to trust in these dreams and visions. There's what you will call qualifiers. You need to certify, you hear what I'm about to tell you, verify, and rectify. Anybody that comes to you with a dream or a vision. Okay? Everybody got any questions so far? Because I'm about to show you some stuff that you've seen before, but now I'm going to give you the understanding that you need to move forward. Okay? That's why we're listening to Moshe, because Yosef didn't write the story about his life. And neither did he write about what happened to Yehuda. Neither did he write about Pharaoh. Judah didn't write his own story. Yah spoke to Moshe while he was on the mountain and plainly told him to write everything that you and I are reading today. I need you to hear me. Moshe wrote it, okay? Now, here's a writing in the book of Job, chapter number 33, verse 15. Remember, we're talking about kalam, okay, meaning dreams. He said, in a dream, in a vision of the night, okay, when deep sleep falls upon men, and that includes women, don't feel excluded, ladies, you're there, while you're slumbering, okay, and you're sleeping in their beds or on their beds, he opens the ears of men when you're asleep. When you're slumbering, Yahweh will go ahead and he will open the ears of men. This is the time when Yah begins to speak to us, is when you are asleep. If you want an answer, right? This has happened to me. I was concerned about these guys that I was going to have cut my trees, and I didn't trust them. And I asked Yah to give me a dream and tell me what should I do. And in the dream, he gave me two dreams. He gave me one where this person was telling me one thing, and then the next dream, the other person was telling me the very same thing, but they were both liars. And I found them both and it didn't have anything to do with a tree. It had to do with something completely different. And so I had an experience where Yah spoke and told me in a dream about who I should trust. And I found out, according to this dream, that I couldn't trust these people. So, and it's happened on plenty of occasions, but my point for you to know is that dreams are going to happen when you sleep and you slumber, and that's when Yahweh opens the ears of men. And he seals their instruction, because that's when he can talk to us. Because during the day, when you and I are awake, okay, from our sleep, we're so busy with distractions that Yah can't speak to us. Usually he'll talk to you between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. How many of you guys ever just woke up in the middle of the morning about this time?
I'm laughing because I'm still up sewing at that time.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's why I don't dream.
Well, you need to go to, yeah, but you need to, this is how he usually, this is the most quietest time in the night. This is where it's just quiet. Usually this is a great time for prayer. If you wake up at between this time or any time, like in this, early when no one's awake, and you wake up out of nowhere, Yah is asking you to do one thing: to pray. Meditate. That's what he's asking you to do. You're not woke so you can go make some coffee. You're woke. He woke you up to pray and meditate and go talk to him about what you're going through. That's why these are the times. So Yah has time frames, okay? And this is what this is here. And he says, in order to turn a man from his deed. So Yah uses this time, even in the dream, to warn people. Okay, he'll turn you from your deed. He'll conceal the pride from man. And the reason why he talks about concealing his pride, because often men and women believe that they're the ones who turn themselves from something, and they didn't. Yah will help you so the man can keep his soul from the pit. That's why. He doesn't want anyone to die, as we read earlier this week, where he says, I don't take any pleasure of the wicked dying. And I'm going to give him a dream, and I'm going to talk to him and give him instruction, and in his life from perishing from the sword. I don't want him to die. That's something that everyone's been putting on the Creator, but he doesn't want men to die. Why? He says, why should the wicked die? Why should you die, house of Israel? He begs them over and over. He talks to the wicked more than anybody. And he tells them, hey, I need you to turn from your ways. Okay. Joseph had a dream, and he had a dream about his brothers. And in that dream, he saw these sheaves. I don't know if you guys can remember that, but he saw some sheaves. Okay. And he said, hey, I saw you guys' sheaves and my sheaves. And all of them were, standing straight up, just like this. You guys had 12 of them, each one for each 11 you guys, and there's me and all of you guys. And you guys came to me, and your sheaves fell before my sheaf. Remember he said that? That's called an aluma. Aluma. It's called a sheaf. Okay. So what they do is they cut everything, right? Remember, because it's the end of harvest. It's the time for things to be cut. It's the end of it's harvest time. So they cut it, and they say, okay, well, now that we cut it, let's bind it now. Let's go ahead and do the binding. And so they would cut it, and then they'll bind it right here. And that's how they stand up. So he says theirs fell down before his. All of theirs fell right down before his. Okay. And it's called a aluma. Okay, aluma. And let's talk about what an aluma is. It comes from this word of alam. So aluma and a sheaf is the same root for alam. I'm going to go back again so you can see the aleph. When I talk about a root, I don't want you to get confused. I want you to know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, it's not difficult. A root is where a word has a parent. Okay, where this word has parents, and different letters represent that parent. Okay, so I'm going to just change this color to blue right quick. My thing here, is it green? Aluma. Here it is, an aleph, a lamed, and a mem right here. Okay, these three letters. Okay, those same three letters are going to be the letters that are used in our next slide. What do we got? What's the first letter, somebody? If you know Hebrew, tell me.
A.
Aleph.
Yeah, Aleph, yeah.
Allah.
So this is an Aleph. Okay, so here's an Aleph right here. That's called an Aleph. Okay, so we got the Aleph, and what is the next one? What's the next letter?
Lamed. L.
Yes, we got the Lamed. Yes, right here. That's the Lamed. So Aleph, A-L-P-E, A-L-E-P-H, and then we got a Lamad, okay, which is L-A-M-A-D. Okay, Lamad. Oh, right here. Okay, and then we got the Mem. Okay, that's all it is. So Alam, Alam, okay, and that means binding. You guys can see where the binding's happening. Where's the binding at on this? How's it bound?
It looks like it's twisted or tied.
Yes, it's tied right here. Okay.
Yeah, it's tied. We used to do this when we were farming.
Yeah. So
We
you
need
got
to let it, yeah,
right?
to make it dry. And we have
Okay.
we're letting it dry.
Yes, you got to bind it. And then once you bind it, you stand it up. And sometimes you lay it down depending on how you're traveling. But initially you stand them up to let everybody know, hey, it's ready. It's ready to be picked up. Okay. So Joseph has his dream. He has a kolam, and in his kolam, they have these aluma, and these alumas are alam. They're all bound. Okay. And these fall before his. They all fall down to him. Okay. And they said, and that means to bow down or to worship. And they said, oh, you're saying that you're gonna be our king. Okay. The reason why they wanted to get rid of their brother is because what he was doing is what a dream does. Okay, listen to what I'm about to explain to you. What a dream is binding. And when he had those dreams, when he had those kolams, and they mentioned these sheaves, these alumims, they understood that when you get a sheaf, that means that you're bound. That's what a dream can bind you to something. You understand? So that's why they were like, oh, you're going to be our king. You're going to be our king. And, we're going to be your servants. Are you serious? And the dream included these items. So they knew exactly what he was talking about. So what he was telling them is that you're bound. I'm going to bind you to this. The moment he had that dream, it made them bound to him as their leader. And they knew it. And so what they wanted to do was they wanted to kill him, and they wanted to get rid of him. They figured if we could get rid of him, what he said will not be binding upon us. You see that? So we got to get rid of him because what he said is binding. Okay. So that's what that means. Okay. Just like when the cupbearer, remember the cupbearer? He had a dream. And remember the baker had a dream. And then Joseph told them what it was, and that he interpreted. And therefore they were being bound to what the dream was. The baker did get hung, and the cupbearer got restored back to favor to the Pharaoh. So that's why everything has a reason. And that's why the Hebrew language is so important, because you would never know that. Okay. Here again, we see a word called Natsav. This is the same word that's used with Tamar when it talked about her being upright. Remember, we went over that word that says Tamar was upright. She was Natsav. Okay. Natsav. Okay. Natsav. Natsav means to be upright. Okay. Now, the question is, when Joseph saw that in that first dream, he saw his brothers' sheaves standing upright, right? Remember this? They're all standing like this, straight up. Okay. Natsav means to be upright. After they became upright, what did they do in his dream?
They bow.
They fell down and they bowed. We haven't gotten to this part of our Torah portion yet, but eventually When his brothers do come stand before him like these sheaves, what do? When they realize who he is, they fall down and they bow down to worship him, and meaning bow down in respect, not worship like, hey, you're our God, but worship in terms of respect and honor, to bow. In a lot of cultures, bowing is this form of respect. And I think some of y'all can speak to that. When we meet someone and you want to show some respect to them, isn't it like you do a 90-degree bow towards them?
90 degrees, the most respect.
The most
You
respect.
could do, yeah, 60, 75, but 90 degrees, like that's how you know that you respect that person, like
Yes.
on a respect way, is by the degree that they're bowing down.
Wow. Okay. So here's the thing and when we bow in prayer, I go down all the way to the ground. I don't do the knee and then my body's up. I don't do any of this. I'm not up here like this. Okay. I am literally all the way down, falling to 100% on the floor, because there's no further place to go when you pray except for being stretched out on your face and your whole entire body. If you want to show ultimate respect to the Holy One of Israel, getting on your knees is great. You can stand praying up. You can stand you can pray on a camel. You can pray in your car. And when you really want to give the ultimate, you got to get 100% down on the ground, because there's no further place to go except for here. You can't go any further than the ground.
Yep. Yeah. So when we meet somebody for the first time, especially like grandparents or your future in-laws, you do have to go all the way to the ground, touch the floor, and there's a left and right position. Men do the
wow.
do the right, men do the right, women do the left, and we have to go
Wow.
all the way. Your forehead has to touch the floor.
Touch the ground.
And then once you do that, and then you get up and do 90-degree.
Wow. Yeah, I go face, nose, and everything down to the ground. Every part of my body completely prostrated on the ground. So my point is that his brothers were to be the only time that they have to go through a process of going to become upright. This is the goal for everyone, is to come to a place where if we do get to the place of being upright with the Holy One of Israel, then you and I are going to be willing to bow. That's when you're going to do it. When you're really an upright person and you're standing in a position of righteousness, and upright means to be yashar as well, you have to be willing to bow down, and you have to be able to acknowledge where you've made your mistake, which I think I want to share here in just a few moments with you about something that I saw in the Torah portion. Okay. We know that he had a dream about fat cows. That's what one looks like. And this is the other part of that dream. He saw a skinny cow that was really malnourished that ate up the other cows. Then we saw in his dream, talking about Joseph, this is what the dreams that Pharaoh had, that he saw this grain. He saw, one piece of grain with 7 heads on it. And then after that, he saw something that was wilted by the wind. And this was in his dreams. Okay. So what he's seeing is just completely opposite. So one is fat and ready to go. The other one is thin and malnourished. And he saw the grain. Okay. And, when would you ever see a cow like this eat another cow that looks like that? That's bizarre. But what cows eat. That cows eat this. So this is why he was able to put those dreams together, because the Holy One of Israel has given Joseph enough experience to know, because he's already had similar dreams about, harvesting, and they were shepherds. So they had herds and they had flocks. So he was already familiar with some of the aspects of these dreams. Okay. So let me see. I'm going a little further here. Having the ability to be able to have an interpretation of dreams, and if you have that gift, because it is a gift, it's a gift from the Holy One of Israel. Okay. If Yah is going to give, and I'm talking about someone who has dreams all the time, they could be used. Okay. Your gift is what makes room for you. It's what brings you before those who have honor, and here great men are kings and leaders. And so it was because of this gift that the Holy One of Israel gave to Yosef. It made room for him in the presence. Okay. So this him right here is Yosef. Okay. in the presence of great men and kings is like Paro. This is where they get it from. Okay. And it causes you to be brought before those who it's supposed to be for, because great men are the decision makers. Okay. And if you have a gift, y'all can use your gift, but your gift is not for you. Your gift is for the use so y'all can get to these individuals. And as a result of that, you will be raised, you will be kum. Kum means to be raised. Okay. You'll be raised to a higher level because this is where the higher men are. But even a man of great importance and great stature, and you may have these gifts and these talents, it's only used to better not yourself, but it's only given to you so you can glorify the Creator. That's what it is. So if you have a gift, and we know that Samaya has a tremendous gift for making beautiful wedding dresses. I don't know if you guys ever seen them, but her gift will bring glory to the Holy One of Israel. If you have a gift for speaking, it will bring glory to the Holy One of Israel. If you have a gift of teaching, it's supposed to bring glory to the Holy One of Israel. Okay. So any gift that the Holy One of Israel gives to any of us is only to bring glory to him. That's what Joseph did. He brought glory to the Holy One of Israel. He did make an error in his judgment when he was in prison, and he did interpret those dreams. He asked those men to remember him, to bring him, in which they did. Which brings me to the one point that I saw in the Torah that I wanted to bring out to you to help you understand something a little bit better than you probably. It's my job to bring it out, right? So let's see what the Holy One of Israel says to us. I found this and I thought about myself, and I thought about what all of us have experienced with the Holy One of Israel. And it was really it kind of had me thinking. I'm like, why I've never seen this before. Okay. So let's read right here. It's in verse number 9. All right. A little context without reading everything. Pharaoh's had these dreams, and he's asked all these wise people to come to tell him what the dreams are about, and nobody was able to do it, all the magicians and everybody. We'll start in verse number 9. When Pharaoh they couldn't interpret his dream, he was a little angry. Yeah, he was very angry with them. But the chief cupbearer, the one who got delivered, okay, said to Pharaoh, "Today reminds me of something wherein I was at fault." Okay. Pharaoh was angry with his officials. He put me in prison in the house of the captain of the guard, me and the chief baker. And one night, both I and he had dreams, and each man his dream had his own meaning. There was with us a young man, a Hebrew, a servant of the captain of the guard, and we told him our dreams, and he interpreted them for us, and he interpreted each man's dream individually. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, I was restored to my office, and he was hanged, meaning the baker. And so, of course, it tells us that Pharaoh brought Joseph out of there immediately. They ran and got him. But the one that I wanted to bring out, or to bring attention, is something that a lot of us will just kind of like go over right quick. We just skim coat it. We'll just go right over it. We would never even think about it. Okay. The Holy One of Israel wants to bring something to our attention. He's using this cupbearer a little bit stronger than what we thought initially. Okay. We just thought he went to jail, and he got out, and he's all good, and he's standing there, and this is the reason why he's on Pharaoh's side, which is true, but it's something about what he said that the Holy One of Israel wants us to hear. Okay. Y'all didn't have Moshe write this story just to tell us that this cupbearer just came out of jail 2 years before, and Joseph, and that's the reason why he's there, to remind Pharaoh. That's one of the reasons. But one of the reasons why he mentions this cupbearer and allowed the cupbearer to come out is so he can say these things that he's saying. Okay. And the one thing that he said was this, that you and I need to understand. The chief, which is the ruler, he's a ruler of all the cupbearers. So what is the chief ruler? The ruler is what you will call, in Hebrew, he's a sar. Okay, that's what it is. A shin and a resh. Okay. And a shin and a resh is called sar. The shin means to turn. That's the first letter. Okay. And this one here is head. Okay. And it could be in another letter called a samak, a sar like that. Sometimes they use the shin and sometimes they use what they call a samak. The truth of the matter is to turn the head. Okay. So this is the reason why he's a ruler. That's why he's a chief. He is a ruler. Okay. And he is a cupbearer. He's the one who stands at the right hand of the creator. Okay. Or excuse me, his king, his you know, his master, because that's what he is. His master put him in prison. Okay. Because he got angry at him because he failed to do his job. He put him in there and he was in there for 3 days. Okay. And he said, I'm going to say this to you. You put me in there because you were angry and because of my, which I'm going to show you right here. They have there my faults. He said, you put me in there. That's what he's saying out loud. It was my, we got fault there, but it's not, that's not what it is. This right here is sin. Okay. He says, my kata'ai, not my faults, my sin. Okay. They put it in English so it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. You know, he says, I remember those things. Okay. And the only time he was able to remember his transgression is when the opportunity came available for him for it to be brought to his attention. Okay. On this day, he said, I'm remembering my sin on this day. The cupbearer, which is the ruler, he's just not a regular cupbearer, he's a ruler. Okay. Yisrael is a ruler, and Yisrael is a servant. And Yisrael has been put in what you would call a prison, a place to what? You're put somewhere to think about what's going to happen to you. Okay. And the one thing that Yah wants us to think about is our sin. Okay. Our sin is what would they call missing the mark. No pun intended, Marcus. You're missing the mark. What's missing the mark in Hebrew? It has to do with what you call a cord. Okay. The cords are used for what? The cords are used for binding, as we saw. You know, you could use a cord for binding and attaching something. Okay. So it means attachment, but also two cords were used for measurement. Okay. So you use a cord to measure something. Okay. So in Yah's eyes, right, sin has to do with measurement. On the cord that you have, on the cord, I'm going to just write a little line here. You would have, and I should put it in a different color so you don't get confused. On a cord, you would have a certain length from one end to the next. Okay. They would then put knots in the cord, along the cord at intervals. And they would use this as a ruler. Okay. As a ruler. So the cord is a tool to measure. Okay. As to rule. Okay. To give you a ruler, like a ruler, 12 inches, whatever. So what a person would do is shoot something or, you know, throw something at something for a target. Once it hits the target, they would go and measure how far away from the target did they hit. So they would use this cord to come over here and measure the target to see, well, it landed right here. The arrow landed right here, but the mark is the target is right here. So what's the distance between this point and this point? And that's how they would measure it and see how far off you are. Okay. So what am I saying? Missing the mark is basically saying you missed the target. You missed the point. You missed where you're supposed to be hitting. Okay. And to hit right here takes what? Somebody tell me. If I want to be perfect in it, what does it take for me to hit the mark?
Practice.
Practice.
You got to practice.
Put that work in.
You got to put that work in. You don't just, okay, so if the target, okay, so if there's targets. So we know that. So if the Holy One of Israel has given us a target, okay, if he's given us a target and he says, okay, I need you to hit right here. And you and I are we're hitting outside the mark all over here. Will he accept this as acceptable? And when he takes the cord and he measures from these distance, he'll go, how far did they miss? What's the distance? You got to get here. This is where I want you. But you guys are out here. You're all over the place. Some people are not even hitting the target. Some people are they're getting close. They're getting closer and closer. Well, what does the Creator want? What does he want? What does a father or a warrior or a captain or a king want for his military? What do you want?
He wants precision, target.
I want precision, and I also want what you would call perfection.
Mhm.
And you know what people say? What's the first thing they say? What do they say?
It's
Somebody
too
tell
hard.
me. It's
can't
too
do it.
hard. I can't do it. You're being unreasonable. This is what the servant is telling the master. I can't do it. What you're asking me is too hard. So I'm going to keep doing it the way that I want to do it. If I'm hitting right here, that's good enough for me. I don't care about what you said. You said you want it right here, and then the Christians told me that I can't do it. So guess what? I can't. Renee said that you don't have the capacity, that you're sinful and you can't hit the mark. That's what they said. Moshe, which is the prophet who's talked to Yahweh face to face, he said something. What did he say, ACHI'KA? What did he say, ACHI'KA, Gerald? What did he tell us? What did Moshe tell us?
That it's not too hard?
He said it's not too hard for you. It's not too hard for you.
It's even in your mouth to do it.
You understand? This is not too hard for you. I'm tired of you making excuses. You don't need anybody to go get it for you. It's right here.
Yeah.
You see? I'm asking you that you could do it. It's so close to you. He just said, look, the commandment in which I'm giving you today is not too hard for you. Isn't we learned today that the Holy One says that it's not too hard for you? He spoke plainly to Israel. This is not no mystery parable. It's not beyond your reach. You can hit this mark, people.
Yes.
You can, and you don't need anybody. You don't need to ask anybody to go get it for you in the sky. You don't need anybody to bring it to you from across the sea. You don't need anybody. You don't need it. It's so very close to you. It's in your mouth. And if it's in your mouth, and even if it's in your heart, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
In a moment that you say that you can't, you're calling Yahweh a liar. That's what we do. And that's a lazy servant. The reason why that cupbearer was there, you hear me? Think about it. Why was the cupbearer there? Why was the baker there? Tell me, somebody. He told us what it was. I'm going to think today about my faults. I'm going to think about it. Is that what he just said? I want to think about it. Because you put me there. He didn't complain to his master and say, oh, you accidentally sent me there. Guess what he was doing? He was slipping. He got lazy.
Like you said, he thought his mark was good enough.
I thought it's good enough. I've obtained a certain level of because I'm the chief. Yah says Israel's the chief of nations. Israel got lazy, and Israel got caught slipping, and Israel got overconfident.
That's good.
And Israel got what you would call complacent. Do you guys see what Yah's telling us? We want to go right past the cupbearer because he's not the focus. We thought it's the dream. It's the dream that's bringing about, oh, praise be to the Holy One of Israel. It's the dream that's bringing about him, his confession that I was slipping. I remember my fault. What is Yahweh asking Israel to do today
Yep,
as a
same
cupbearer,
thing.
as a chief of his right hand? What is he saying?
To think about it, remember.
Remember that I am the one who can either bring you out of your prison. I can bring you out of your place of destitution. I sent you there so you can think. The Pharaoh sent this cupbearer there because he was angry at the cupbearer because the cupbearer wasn't thinking. He got lazy and he got overconfident, and he's over a group of people. He wasn't just the one who was squeezing the wine out. He wasn't pressing the wine. He was the chief of the cupbearers. He had to make sure that everything was right. He had to make sure that the wine tasted well. He had to be on it.
But Brother Dawid, you've gone over that several times with us when say when you're in your captivity and when you start thinking about what has happened to you.
Yes. But even while we're thinking, Yah says, I want you not only to think, but I want you to think about your sin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to start thinking of just to think. I want you to have a purpose behind your thinking. I gave you this story so you can look at it. And I've read the story for years. And this is the first time that I've ever seen this because it just popped off the page. He says, I remember my fault. And I said, well, why did he say that? He could have easily said, hey, there was a guy in the prison who interpreted a dream for me. He didn't say that. Moshe wrote this out for us to tell us plainly that this in particular servant was one that had admitted his fault. So therefore, what is the creator asking? He's saying, when you're in your place of your captivity or your exile from me and out of my presence, I'm going to put you somewhere and you're going to think about it. When you're there, I need you to think about your transgression. I need you to think about it. It doesn't have to be spot on with the way it happened with him. It's just looking at the title. He's a servant. He got overconfident. He said he transgressed. We know transgression, sinning is to miss the mark. That means he was doing things the way that he wanted to do it. And he was confident in it. I've been arguing today with probably about 7 to 8 people on Facebook. Okay. I want to share something with you. This guy claims that he is King David.
What?
I know, it's funny. It's hilarious.
Hey, Brother Dawid, but as you were talking, it just came to me that there are only 2 outcomes.
Come on.
One of the cupbearer and
Yeah.
one of the baker. You're
That's
either going to
it.
be restored or you're going to die.
You're going to die. That's why Yah showed this story with us.
Interesting.
Here's a guy that claims that he's King David. He's claiming this, and he has people bowing down to him, and he's in Africa. And he wouldn't, just show you something. The guy in the red. See that guy bow down to him? He's bowing down. Mike called him my king.
Okay, so we're shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever and ever. And of his kingdom there shall be no end. Hallelujah. All praises.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You guys see that? Hey, did you guys see that?
Yes.
All right.
All
Here.
right. We got some
They got
business
stuff to
here
do. Now I'm
done
gonna show
by
you this
hotel.
king.
All right.
Let me show you the king.
In the air, with your fists in the air. Our leaders, we turn our back. We're not our ancestors, you don't want this war. We survive all you did employ. No mouth can mess, let pen, cause leader, no more can Luther. They work our leaders.
All right, all right, all right, all right. What do you guys think about that? Huh?
Comedy.
Listen, guys, what I'm trying to tell you is Israel's in trouble. Look, you got people out here bowing down to people saying that that's King David, right? And he's in Africa. He's in Gambia. But here's what reason I brought this up is because no one wants to acknowledge what Yahweh has said about David. Okay, this is a whole nother study we'll get on later. We ran out of time tonight. Okay, but I'm going to tell you about David. I'm going to tell you everything you should know about David. I'm going to tell you where David's coming from. I'm going to tell you where David literally will be and he's at and what role he's supposed to play. Here's my point. You can't apply a prophecy to anybody, I don't care who they are, if it hasn't happened, if it's not been fulfilled. Okay. So people are going around claiming a whole bunch of different things about who they are and what role they play and all this kind of stuff. So Israel is in a really bad shape right now. And this guy is, he's a New Testament guy. And, I told him about the Hebrew and he denied it. He didn't want to accept it and, just whatever. But I see the foolishness and, I don't know. I want just to share. I mean, it's just for me, a little bit of laughter. I'm sorry if I've offended anybody, but I find it hilarious that, we got people out here just actually doing this kind of stuff and have people following him. He got people in Africa following him. So that was my highlight of today. I wanted to share that with you.
I can't say it's comedy.
All right. So in conclusion,
What's wrong with us?
Yeah, what's wrong with us, right? So in conclusion, you guys, let me just show you one little thing. We've been here for about a minute. I just want to summarize everything that we've learned because I want to respect your time. When you come back, I'm going to give a video on talking about the names. Okay, I'm going to tell you about some Hebrew names, about what they mean, which we're going to deal with Manasseh, and then we're going to deal with Ephraim, and all those sort of things. Okay, then we're going to get into some other things. Well, what I wanted to just really bring out to you was the fact that our gift will put us where we need to be, right? The gift that we have from the Holy One of Israel is the Torah. As his servant, just like Pharaoh gave the cupbearer a responsibility to bear the cup and to manage all that for him, and the baker to manage all that for him, you and I have a responsibility to the Torah. And what it does, it puts us before the people that Yah wants to put us in front of. Yah's intention is to put Israel in front of kings. That's what his intention is. His intention is to bring us before kings. His intention is to have us rule on the face of the earth. That's what he wants us to do because we're his servant. That's why Israel says, coastlands, listen to me. This is Isaiah 49. You peoples far away, Yahweh called me from the womb. I was born, before I was born. He has spoken my name. He made my mouth like a sharp sword while hiding me in the shadow of his hand. He has made me like the sharpened arrow while concealing me in his quiver. And this is what he said to me. You are my servant, Israel, through whom I will show my glory. Okay? And what did it say? It says, but I have toiled in vain and I spent my strength for nothing. Futility. That's what it's been for us. Okay. Only focal point I want you to take from this right now is the fact that Yah has said and communicated to us, and he said it over and over and over again, that you and I are his servant. You and I are like the cupbearer. You and I are like the baker. And we have to understand, and it's not until we come to our end, okay, like McCates, when you come to your end, you can understand and know for a certainty, for a fact, that your work outside of the Holy One of Israel has been nothing but in vain. Because we spent our strength for nothing. It's all been for nothing. And this is what the servant has said. The servant's talking here. Yah's not talking. He's just quoting what Yah said. That's why these little quotation marks are here is what Yah said to Israel. And he says, but I said, this is what I said. The servant said, I have toiled in vain and I spent my strength for nothing. Futility. It's all been for nothing. Okay. But yet my cause is with Yahweh, my reward is with my Elohim. We have a job and a responsibility. and we're going to be held accountable for our actions. And if we're going to be the servant, then we're going to have to acknowledge that where we fell off. That's what Israel just did in chapter number 49. He's acknowledging, as a nation, we have toiled in vain. Everything that we've done up to this point has been for nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's not until you and I want us to get this, it's not until you and I accept the role of a servant of the Creator that we can fully understand what our job is. And if you don't accept that role and you don't want to be the cupbearer for the Holy One, or you don't want to be the bearer of light for him, then your only option is to be destroyed. That's what it is. Yah has designed Israel only for one reason, and that is to bring glory to him and to his name. That's the only reason why we're here. Okay. I want you to wrap your mind around that. Okay. I don't want you to just leave here tonight. And I'm not trying to preach to you, and I'm not trying to get you to get emotional about it. I just want you to understand that the reason why we exist is only for the sake of Yahweh's name and for him. That's why he keeps saying, I'm going to use you. I'm going to use you, and I'm going to be glorified through you. That's the only reason I'm going to do everything I'm going to do. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. 13, is it? Yeah, you're the loincloth. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 13. 11. Here you go. And let's let him verify it. So he said that there. But let's see what Yirmiyahu says. Yirmiyahu says this, and this is what I want you to go to bed and sleep on tonight, because Yah was speaking to us through the prophets. Okay. He said to him this. He's talking about a loincloth. You can read this later. It's in chapter number 13 of Jeremiah. He said, just as a loincloth clings to a man's body, I made the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Yehudah to cling to me. That's why I made them. Okay. So that they could be my people, building me a what? What does he want us to build? I need you to build me a name. That's the only reason why you exist. I made you so you can cling to me, and so that you could be my people, and you build me a name and becoming for me a source of praise and honor. Okay. I don't want to get into what he said about them not listening. I want you to focus on why you were made. That's all I want you to focus on. I want you to believe that you're the loincloth, that he says, I want you to cling to me, and I made you, and I want you to do something for me. I'm using you so you can be my people, and I need you to build me a name and becoming for me a source of praise and honor. So the question is, as a servant of the Holy One of Israel, if this is not your intention, if you're not in this to do this, then you don't understand who you are. And if you don't understand this, and this the summation of it, this is so powerful. He has never chosen anyone else to be a loincloth for him, to wrap around him, right? That's why the whole house of Israel, not just in the whole house of Yehudah. So he won't take one without the other. He wants us to cling to him. I want you to be my people. That's what I made you for. I want you to build me a name. That's what I made you for. I want you to become for me a source of praise and honor. So in order for that to happen, I have to do something to you. If you read in this verse earlier, he says, wow, it's interesting. He told Yehudah to go get this cloth. And he said, when you go get this cloth, right? He says, go take this cloth, and I'll just sum it up. He says, take verse 4, take the loincloth that you bought in verse number 4 and you're wearing, get up. So now he's showing you that Yirmiyahu is representative of him. He says, go to Parah, hide it in the hole in the rock. So I went, I hid it in Parah, as Yahweh ordered me. A long time word afterwards, Yahweh said to me, get up to Parah and go recover the loincloth. Meaning go recover what? The house of Yehudah and the house of Israel, as I ordered you to hide there. I went to Parah and I dug it up, and the loincloth, when I looked at it from the place where I had hidden it, I saw that it was ruined and it was useless for anything. Then the word of Yahweh came to me. Here's what Yahweh says. This is how I will ruin what makes Yehuda so proud and Jerusalem so very proud. I will ruin this evil people. Why? Because who refuse to hear my words and live according to their own stubborn inclinations. So who go after other gods and serve them and worship them. They will be like this loincloth, which is useless for anything. So God's letting us know that if you and I continue to worship other gods and live according to our own stubborn hearts and inclinations, because we're evil people before, So he's asking you and I to turn, as he's done in Ezekiel, and turn from your ways, consider what's going on. I don't care if you got to go get a strong drink. Like I tell you all the time, I'm not advocating alcoholism. I'm telling you, whatever it takes for you to sit down and think about it. Turn your television off, turn your music off, turn your radio off, put the kids down, and you need to sit and ask yourself the question, am I doing my job in order to bring honor and praise to the name of the Holy One of Israel? Do I really, really want to do that? And if so, how does my life and my actions reflect that? This is not psychology. This is the truth. Yah's telling us, I put you in the place of exile so you can think about it. So all I'm asking you to do. If you don't do what I need you to do, you're not going to be of any use to me. Just like that loincloth, it's ruined. I made you to be my people. So I can show my glory to the nations through you. And that is my intention for you. Now, acknowledge your faults and your sins, admit, confess, and turn, and meaning change your mind about the direction that you've been going and say, you know what? I've sinned. And you know what? I've missed your mark. And I haven't been a good servant. I haven't been a good cupbearer. And I know I've been a terrible baker. So what do I need to do? If Yah puts us back in the service, he's looking for a person to say, I'm willing not to miss the mark. He never said that. Because even in Ezekiel, he says they're going to be offering for sin. Yah's intention for us is not that you're going to hit it every time. He's saying what I want you to do is just improve your ways. I want you to make an effort to try to be a better individual. I want you to make a better effort about the way that you think and the way that you're talking to people. I want you to make a great effort to honor my words and guard what I told you, because as my servant, that is the reason why I created you. I created you to guard what I said. I didn't create the nations so they can guard what I said. I created you to guard what I said. So do you want to guard it, or do you want to play games? Do you want to make up excuses why you can't do what I asked you? See, so either you take the role and the responsibility the right way, or you just accept what's going to come to you. Yes, Koti Pam. Can't hear you, Koti. Unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay, so when you say to guard, does that mean that if someone says something offensive as far as y'all, we should immediately respond?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Key Gerald, tell us what Proverbs 28:3 says.
Oh, yeah.
We
yeah.
fight the righteous fight the wicked.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Couldn't think
the
of it exactly.
responsibility is, and what I mean by fighting them and guarding what he says is this: guarding can happen in several different ways. Like, guarding means like someone's willing to break the Shabbat, and you know that they are, and you've already told them, well, hey, that's against the Shabbat, and they say, well, I don't care. You go, oh, okay. And then he invites you to go somewhere. You say, no, that's okay. I keep the Shabbat. That's guarding the Shabbat. Someone says, his name is God. And you say, no, his name is Yohei. And they say, well, I'm going to call him God. You say, well, okay, well, his name is Yohei, and that's what I'm going to call him. That's correcting, and that's guarding. You know the Shabbat's coming, right? So you guard it against anybody that wants to break it. So you got some worker that wants to come to your house and do your yard. I'm sorry, you're not able to come on Saturday. Oh, well, why not? Oh, well, if he asked you or she asked you, well, why not? Well, simply because we keep the Shabbat. That's how you guard it.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't get in confrontations and arguments like I told Marcus. We're not here to argue, but I'm here to stand guard, meaning you may think I'm going to protect what Yahweh says. So for me, I guard that which is written in the gold box. Even though I don't have the gold box, I got the words. So I guard that literally with my life. I challenge myself and I guard my eyes. Now hear this. You have guards in your head right now. I spoke about this before. Your eyes are your guards. Those are your gates. You got to guard those gates. You got to guard your ear gates, because that's where your gates, where information and people come in, voices come in, pictures come in your eyes. You got to guard your mouth against the foods that someone wants to put in your mouth. So you go to restaurants, you got to examine everything. You got to guard what you put your hands on, because there's certain things that Yah told you not to touch, and you don't supposed to touch it. And if you did, wash your hands. And that includes bodily fluids. You understand? So this is not magic. This is the truth. So you and I have guards, and the one place that you need to guard more than anything is where you're safekeeping the Torah, which is in your mind. That's where you're going to guard. So be careful about what you watch. And not necessarily just the people on the outside, it's the people that are trying to get inside of you. That's what he wants you to guard. So you got to be careful what HBO is trying to tell you, or CNN, or Fox News, or Facebook, or TikTok. We got to guard. You understand? So those are the guards, that the gates that we need to have. Yes, Marcus.
So when you say like yeah, you say is garden. So of course I see the same dude every day. When he comes up to me and he says, "Oh, something God," or something Jesus, and I just go, "Well, I mean, his name isn't God, or his name isn't Jesus," and he starts calling me like the Antichrist. How do I guard that?
Oh, you stop talking to him.
Yeah, you just walk away from that.
You stop talking to him. I mean, because number one, what I've realized, you guys, is that, you could talk to a fool all day long. It's not going to change his mind, right? So what we don't want to do is minimize the holiness of Yahweh's words by arguing with people that don't honor it.
Well, so I think Proverbs say that if you argue with a fool, you're making yourself likened unto him.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
You a fool to argue with a fool.
Yeah. If someone's not willing to listen, what am I talking to you for?
Well,
and if a person's not reasonable, so always ask the person. Yeah, go ahead.
This is how I take it, Brother Dawid, is that I do everything for the Shabbat. I'll cook on Friday. I'll do breakfast Friday evening. I'll do dinner Friday. And so, but I remember one time everyone was away from home, and it was about 5 o'clock, and it was during the summer, and I was sitting here watching TV, and went to Shabbat service, and just sitting here chilling, just making sure I honor my rest day. And then I wanted something to eat. I wanted something specific. And I went over and I turned on the stove. As soon as it came on, I turned it off real fast. I didn't guard it.
Yeah, you didn't guard. Right.
I didn't guard. You cannot you're not going to leave the gate unlocked with a prisoner and walk away from it.
Exactly.
You're going to escape. So I didn't. That's guarding. You have to make sure that you're conscious of the Father's law, that Torah.
Yes, and he wants us to be like, listen,
yes.
I know it seems extreme, but it's not.
I had to pray right away.
Dawid said, I guard. Yes. If you read Psalms 119, he said, I guard your ways. I'm your servant. I guard it. So what Yah's telling us is shamar. Shamar means guard. And to be on guard, like always. Don't ever put your guard down. You might be watching a show and it's just slipping all kinds of stuff in here. And before you know, you caught up in it. There's been shows I was watching. I was like, I can't watch this, because it's just like, wait a minute. So it slips up on you. But if you put your guard down, they're going to get in. Y'all was more specific about the eyes. Some people, that's religious. No, you idiot, or you dummy. You better be on it. You better be cognitive of what's going on around you. So reason two is that if you're on guard, you're more willing to, you're more alert. So Yah's saying, I need a certain amount of alertness about you as my people, because not everyone is going to guard my words. So remember, Yah says, the ones who have respect unto my name, the ones who fear me, those are the ones who guard it. And if they're the ones who guard it, guess what? When time for me to show mercy, I'm showing mercy to the person who guarded what I said.
Mm-hmm.
The person who had no regard for what I said, no regard, you're done. You're done because you had no regard for me. See? So guarding, guard. That's what you are. That's a servant of Yahweh is one who guards. They had at the temple, they had guards.
Yeah.
They didn't let anybody just go into the temple.
Mm-hmm.
They were guarding the temple. You understand? They would kill somebody who tried to enter in the temple because they had no place there. So our Creator is serious about guarding his words. That's why he says that you and I said, Shema is close to Shamar. It is the same word, but just put a resh on it. It's the same word. You and I have to learn how to guard. And if you don't guard, that means that you're slipping.
Mm-hmm.
That cupbearer, he wasn't guarding. He let something slip. Maybe the wine wasn't right. Well, what happened? It's your fault. You're in charge. So y'all saying the nations, that's why he has to get us right. And so if his intention is to have everybody else in line, the first one he got to get in line is his servant. So we can be faithful in his house. That's why he gave us Moshe to instruct us, to tell us how to develop the character and the mindset to be the one who's saying, okay, we need to be on this. They didn't have that kind of mindset. Everybody's lackadaisical. They don't care. They're frivolous. They're going picking up sticks on the Shabbat. They're careless. These people were careless. A matter of fact, the people that were being put to death, like the son who was a drunk and the daughter who was out having sexual intercourse with other men and didn't tell her father. Moshe tells in Hebrew that those are foolish things. These are people that are dumb, that were dying. And guess what he said? Kill them in front of the whole entire congregation. Why? Because I want to show you what happens to those who don't think.
Hey, and the father said that Moses was most faithful in his whole house, but because he failed to guard, he wasn't able to go in.
You can't go in because you didn't sanctify my name.
Yeah.
You didn't guard my name. And because you didn't do that, you're going to pay. So even with the most faithful man, the most humblest man, the man who did everything and led Israel out of the Egypt and saw it all and had the staff in his hand, said, you go up here and go die today.
Man.
And then he said, when he tried to say something, he said, I don't want to hear it. He literally said, don't mention it to me no more. Don't let another word come out your mouth. Period. That's who you and I are dealing with. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's the truth. That's why y'all's looking for people like you and I to say, you know what? We need to be willing, like the Levites, the Leviim. Yah tell you to pick it up. Who's with Yah? That's the question. Pincus got rewarded for killing people for what they did against the Holy One of Israel. He said, oh, you got zeal for me. I'm looking for people with zeal. But I don't need you to go kill anybody. What I need you to do is guard what I said. And I need you to sit back and watch what I'm going to do on your behalf, because I'm going to make my name known through you. And because such a great honor for you to be my servant. Don't you understand what an honor it is for you to serve me? I'm the king of the universe. Don't you get it? I'm Melech HaOlam. Do you understand that?
Melech HaOlam.
I'm Melech HaOlam. Can't nobody say that.
No.
I ain't never said I'm the Mashiach. I told you who I am. I'm Melech HaOlam. Olam.
I like that.
And there ain't no other. There ain't no other. There doesn't exist anybody else. And if you and I don't get that, and we don't humble down and eat the humble pie and said, you know what? I'm just a human being like every other creation. I have breath in my life. I got blood. I got some atoms and some neutrons. I got all this kind of stuff. And I got a nervous system like everything else. I need to humble down. You told me to read and you told me to understand it. And you told me to think about it. You gave me a mind. I'm going to think, because if you're a dumb animal, like an ox, and you won't be trained, and we've been going through these cycles and you still won't learn. Only thing left for me to do is chop you down and put you in some soup. That's it. As an ox, if you don't want to do what I'm telling you, I'm going to kill you.
Like
I got to put you down. If you read the Torah, he says, if an ox keeps gorging people and you can't train it, I got to kill it.
Yep.
If you're a son that just won't listen, you got to die. If you're a daughter who's rebellious, you gone. If you're a wife who keeps whoring, I'm going to kill you. Don't you understand? I'm going to burn you alive. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. If you're a servant, if you love me, go put your ear up on that door and nail it there and say, I'm yours for life. We've been serving everybody else. Now it's time for us to serve our king.
Mhm.
And he needs 100% absolute total commitment, meaning 100% loyalty. I'm going to be loyal to the soil. I'm going to be loyal to the king. I'm going to be loyal to what he said. I don't care about what nobody else is talking about. I don't care what's on TV. I don't care how many Christmas trees I see. I don't care how many jingle bells. I don't care. You guys can dance, sing all you want to. It's what he said. Period. What kind of king do you think y'all's going to put over us? You think our king is going to be a man who's going to be moved by other people's thoughts and opinions? Or do you think he's going to do what Yahweh says?
Absolutely. 100%.
You think he's that Yahweh said, I hate those who hate you. You got to pick a side.
Mhm.
Marcus, don't argue with that clown anymore. Guess what? This dude, I was talking for like, I'm arguing with 6 or 7 people on his line. They're like, why don't you just get off? Why don't you just get off? I said, no, I'm sent here to destroy you. I'm about to destroy you. I'm not here. I'm not leaving anywhere. Okay. Well, you got the wrong spirit. No. I know I don't have a spirit. It says right there in Ezekiel, I don't have his spirit. Not yet. What I got right now, I'm on guard. I'm here to destroy you with words. You understand? And they don't want none. Nobody wants none. I always say, come and debate me. Nobody wants any. They don't want none of this.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it over in Africa. King David, how come we still here?
Hey, he didn't answer that question. I said, the dishes
How come we still
can
here?
answer it. Hey, guess what I told him to read? Guess what I told him to read? Ezekiel 36 and 24. It says that we don't have a spirit, we're going to get a new heart. And guess what I said, once you have the courage to read that, you had the courage to go live on YouTube and Facebook. Once you have the courage to read those 3 verses, you know he wouldn't read it? Cowards. So you guys might see some stuff online, and if you hear me, don't trip like, man, did he lose his mind? Because he's really cool with us, but he's losing on these other people. Listen, I'm like, Gerald, you know me. I am telling you right now, my filter is almost completely gone, and I'm just letting people have it now because it's
I like it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So
yeah, that is ridiculous, man, because you
guys
don't know
are
the jeopardy
here.
you putting yourself in.
Hey, guess what? But you know what? You got to guard what Yahweh says.
Yeah.
Tell the wicked, you're wrong. People, my family mad at me because I don't like homosexuality.
It's wicked.
It's wicked.
I won't tell you.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what to do, but
No,
it's
I don't.
wicked.
I don't care. I'm just telling you. It says it's wicked.
It sure did.
So, class, listen. Let's remember our fault. That's what y'all. That's why you're here. We're here for that. We're not here to sing, kumbaya. No. They should have been singing. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. They never said that. They never said they were sorry. That's why this generation right now is the one saying it, because we're saying, I'm sorry. I am so sorry that we haven't served you and we haven't brought glory to your name. Do you know Yahweh's been waiting thousands and thousands of years to have his name magnified and glorified by the people that are on Zoom right now? By our families. He chose our families to bring glory to his name. Isn't that an honor? Isn't that a praise?
Mm-hmm.
He took it, he destroyed Jerusalem, burned down the building with his house that they were profaning. And he says, guess what? I'm going to burn that down, but I still got my name on you. I won't forget you. And don't forget me, Israel. Don't worry about your sin. I'll wipe it away like it never happened. I won't even remember it. Okay? I won't. But you got to do something first. You got to say you're sorry. And you got to mean it this time. And if you told me you go do something, then I want you to be people who honor their word like I do. Because you can't misrepresent me by being out here being whores and idolaters. I need you to be upright people. Netzav, upright. Stand upright, you guys. Stand upright before Yahweh. And then after we stand upright, he says, then you bow down to me and tell me I'm the king, and then I'll raise you up and set you among people around kings, and they'll come and they'll bow down to you. Because I have glorified myself through you. You see? So we don't get that for free. And you don't get it because you're black. You get it because you're upright. You get it because you're guarding Yahweh's words. You get it because you're about righteousness and you're about his judgment and you're about his Shabbats and you're about his Moedim and his appointed times. And you will not let anybody or anything move you, sway you, get you off of anything.
Say
And
that.
if anybody ever comes and tell you anything other than what Yahweh says, you say, I don't believe you. Because you did. And if you did say that he says something, I'm going to examine it and you're going to have to verify what he said. And it's going to have to come to pass. Other than that, you can't tell me nothing.
Mhm.
I don't care how many visions you have. Okay. Oh, Lila Tove, you guys. Lila Tove.
Lila Tove, shalom, everyone.
Lila Tove. So, hey,
Lila Tove, ACHI'KA.
I'm going to let you guys go. This Shabbat, we'll be going and finishing up our series on McCates. Okay, we're gonna have an end at McCates. Right now, part of the word means awake. So we woke up. You know, we're waking up and in this dream, like, man, we just found out that we're the children of Israel. Oh, what does this mean? And then he says, go to Moses, and Moses will tell you what it means. And we've been reading Moses. Moses said, hey, you guys say you're sorry, okay? Okay. And what do you got to do? Turn to him with a whole heart and do exactly everything I'm telling you to do today. It'll be exactly what I'm saying. Is that it? Yes. Don't ask for anybody to get it. It's right there with you. It's in your mouth. It's in your heart. It's right there. Really? Yes, it's there. You don't have to go anywhere to find it. It's right there.
Mhm.
Just meditate. You hear me? Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, Akoti. Absolutely. You can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I'll see you later. I'll see you on
Yes,
Shabbat.
sir.
Y'all have a
Shalom.
good one.
Okay, Tabby.
Yes, dear.
Yeah, this Shabbat is also a first new moon.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a double Shabbat.
Double. Yes.
Yes,
It's beautiful.
yes.
I'm gonna blow
Just
that-
a
I'm gonna blow that-
reminder. Just a
Oh,
reminder.
absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm gonna blow that shofar. Hallelujah. Wa.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Wa. I'll see all of you guys.